What's going on, YouTube? It's Atomic, bringing you guys another YouTube video. And today I want to be talking about what to do next after you beat the second boss, the Elder, in Valheim. So if you guys like this video, smack like now, or do whatever. Hit like, or these boars are gonna get it. I have 5 of them. I'll jump down there and get them with the axe. Or I'll stay up here and shoot them with an arrow. Okay, now that you like the video, let's get into it. So, the next thing that you want to do after you beat the Elder, the second boss, is you want to... it doesn't tell you right away, but what you get from the Elder is you'll get the Elder Trophy and then the Swamp Key. So basically what that means is the next part of the game you want to travel to the Swamplands, which I've already uncovered some of the Swamplands. As you can see, there's some down here that I've uncovered. I kind of went through and kind of just marked where the dungeons are. Obviously, this is going to be like where I'm going to be going early on for loot. I might make a base down here just because it'll be easier to just sail across and get to the Swamplands and then sail back, obviously. But so yeah, once you get the Elder boss completed here, the Swamplands looks kind of like mud on your map to symbolize Swamplands. And so yeah, once you find that, sometimes you can, it'll be like to the north and the south, but it won't be like crazy far from where you start. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I was hoping the Elder was on my island here, because then I would have been able to find or fight him sooner than I wanted to, and not have to sail across the map just to get to the Elder. But I'm going to be going over some pointers and like kind of tips that I recommend you guys doing before you go into the Swamplands, because it is quite dangerous because of it's raining all the time, and it doesn't have normal ground like this. It has like water everywhere. And what I like to do is just talk about the enemies first. So when you get to the Swamplands, you'll have to fight, it'll be skeletons, the new enemy type that you'll encounter, which is, well, there's 3 new enemy types, actually. Or, actually, no, there's quite a few. So we're going to be talking about those. So it's good. One of the enemy types is called Draugr. They're like, just zombified humans, I guess you could say. But they have like bows and swords and shields and whatnot. So they're a little bit more advanced. They, as far as I know, they don't have a weakness. So I would just pick like a weapon you like, whether it be an axe or the iron mace, and just level it up to 3. Level 3, or as high as you can get it right now. And then as far as the skeletons go, they're weak to the mace. So, but the skeletons, like, they're really not that hard to dispose of, even with the axe. So I would just stick with whichever one you prefer to use, or which one you have leveled up more. And onto our third enemy type. They're called Surtlings. They are fire based creatures. They spawn in the fire, basically, but if they touch water, they die completely. So they can only go on land, which is a good thing because you can actually take them out from kind of a distance if they're on like an island or something. And they drop Surtling cores, which are the red things that you found in the dungeons. Excuse me. And then the fourth enemy type is going to be leeches. So there's the leeches in the water. They're not always in the swamp. Like they usually hang out by the shoreline. So once you get into the swamp, um, I've only ever encountered them in the swamp like a handful of times, but that's because they had a way to come in from the shore to get to the inner part of the swamp. And those guys aren't too difficult. They just wiggle around like giant leeches that they are, and they do kind of do a little bit of damage to you. If you have a shield, like I recommend having a maxed out shield before you go into here. And then the fifth enemy type is going to be the wraiths. And now the wraiths I've only ever encountered at night, which you shouldn't be in the swamp at night anyways. And I'll get into more of that after we're done talking about the enemies. And yeah, they're just annoying to deal with. But they do have a weakness, which is arrows. The wraiths are pretty weak to arrows, and they fly pretty high up and they fly around and stuff, so it's a good thing that they're weak to arrows. At least arrows do a lot of damage. They're just like the spirits or the ghosts that you find in the dungeons. They're weak to arrows. Arrows do like heavy damage to them. I wonder if it's just pierce damage that's really good against them. And now for the last enemy type, they're called blobs, and they're little green ooze bag things that they jump around and kind of like slug around the map. They're kind of annoying because they do poison damage. They're the only enemy type that does the poison damage, as far as I know. I think some of the Draugrs have poison arrows. But other than that, the blobs are kind of annoying, and we'll get into how to counter them as well. And they're not very weak to arrows, so I would recommend using like a blunt object like a mace or an axe to get rid of them. But they're really not that bad. I heard Stag Breaker is pretty easy to get rid of them as well when you start clearing dungeons, because it's like kind of a close area and it just stuns them consistently where they can't move or do poison damage really, so that's a good thing to know. So that's all of the enemies and how to beat them. You do not, like I said, you do not want to be in the swamp at night. Sometimes when you're mining in the dungeons, it'll take you a while to get through the dungeon, and you'll come out and it's nighttime. I would recommend just going back into the dungeon, since the enemies can't go through the load screen doors, or the doors to the dungeon. So you just hang out in the dungeon until the next day pops up, like day whatever day you're on. So that way you will be able to not die super fast, because at night there's like increased enemy spawns, and also it's just really hard to get out of the swamp at night. And not only that, is it's raining all the time, and it's going to be at nighttime, so you're going to be cold, wet, and you're also probably not going to be rested anymore, so your stamina drain is going to be like insane. So you're going to have like 2 debuffs on, the cold and wet buff, which is just going to not really be that great of a time since it rains all the time there. So you have to work on stamina, like saving your stamina. But I do also have some tips to kind of combat, as far as like what you should bring in there with you for food, and also what potions you should bring. So once you get the fermenter unlocked, you can start making potions. You can start making stamina potions, which I would recommend taking at least 6 of in there. And then the poison resistant potions, I would take like 2 or 3 of those. And then the minor healing potions, I would take like 6 of those as well, just because of like how dangerous the swamp can be for like a new player coming in there that hasn't gone in there yet at all. And then also for food, I would recommend snagging the fishing rod from the vendor in the Black Forest, and also getting some to do some fishing to get some fish for cooked fish, and then make some necktails as well, and also have some cooked meat, because the cooked fish will give you 45 health and 25 stamina. The grilled necktail will give you 35 health and 20 stamina, and the cooked meat will give you 40 health and 30 stamina. So you're getting 120 health on top of the 75 stamina. So you'll get like a pretty decent chunk. Here, I'll eat the 3 for just to show you guys how big of a health bar you get when you eat these 3. And it's definitely worth it if you are looking for more stamina, because you will have like increased stamina drain. I would recommend making the Queen's Jam jelly and then having like some berries on you or something. But you definitely want to eat the raw meat, or not the raw meat, the cooked meat, and the fish at least, if you're gonna do Queen's Jam, because you'll get you'll get 25 stamina from the fish, 40 from the Queen's Jam, and then 30 from the cooked meat. That's almost 100 stamina. That's 95 stamina, which is tremendous. And you'll be able to just take out stuff from a distance with your bow a lot. I do recommend bringing your bronze pickaxe and your antler pickaxe as well, because you will be doing a lot of mining in the dungeon, and sometimes your pickaxe will break as well inside of the dungeon. Then you'll have to like come out and cut your journey short, you know. So I would definitely recommend bringing both of these pickaxes and having at least one weapon and a shield to max level. You can bring the fine wood bow maxed out too if you want, and you should always make sure you have the swamp key on you, because one time I went to the swamp and I legit sailed across the map like to get to the swamp, and I ended up forgetting the key, which was not good at all. I know there's portals in the game, but the problem with the portals is you can't teleport any of the iron scraps through it, or any sort of ingots really. So that's why I would recommend building a base kind of close to where you're going to be at for when you're going to be mining, so that way you can looks like there's some meadow down here. Yeah, I might be able to build down here, just not leave the island. That would actually work out a lot. I might do that. But yeah, so you can't teleport or use the portal when you have the ingots or the scrap. So I recommend building yourself a little cave like this or something, and finding like your base, like building a base pretty nearby, but not in the swamp, unless you like actually know what you're doing when you're building in the swamp. I've never built in the swamp just because there's just so much stuff that can attack your base and stuff. I know some people build like treehouse bases and stuff in there, and it's not a bad idea, but it like that just takes like a lot of time versus like just building like a small little outpost based base, like just a small outpost, and then having a main base. But yeah, I would just make sure that you have all of your gear leveled up and all of the items I suggested, like the stamina potion, the minor healing need, and the poison resistance potion, and having the fishing rod so you can get fish, having some grilled necktails and some cooked meat as well, so that way you are full health like most of the time, as high as you can get. I will say, once you kill Draugr, you do get their entrails to make sausages, and those will replace one of these meat items, probably the necktails, because they're the lowest on the health per stamina reward. So yeah, it's definitely worth it to go to the swamp with those items. I will also say because sometimes if you want to jump out and explore, all the boats have ladders on the side. So if you are jumping out of your boat, I would do it in a way where your ladder is facing you, so that way when you're swimming and you run out of stamina or something, you don't just die right away. So that way you can sit here and use the ladder, because like there's sometimes, like if you're in the water, like and you're close to your boat that doesn't have the ladder on the side, like you can't jump into the boat, so you got to use the ladder. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all my tips and tricks for the swamp. The number one thing is don't be in there at night, and if you are in there mining in a dungeon, just wait it out, because like the enemies in there are like insane and they will kill you. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much this entire video. I'm gonna be setting up an outpost somewhere south. I don't know if I want to do it on the island or if I just want to set it up over here in the meadows. The reason why I want to do it on the island is because the wind isn't always in your favor when you're sailing, and I would be able to mine like incredibly fast if I had it on the island, because I would just be able to run instead of having to go back. So yeah, guys, if you guys liked the video, leave a like and subscribe, and tell me what your favorite part of this game is, if you guys have made it this far to the swamp, or if you've made it farther to, you know, getting silver or whatnot in the future videos. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.